Good evening. Oh, my camera's in the wrong place. Hold on. Okay, put that down. Oh god. There we go. Hi. Good evening. Hello, so cute. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Barry. Hello, Chicken. Hi. How we doing? It is a Tuesday night and that music is a little bit loud to me. Be quiet. Be quieter. Be really quiet. There we go. Oh, shoot. Okay, there we go. Let me know if I need to adjust it for you guys as well. That was like pretty loud to me for some reason. Hi, how we doing? I slept for 1,000,000 hours again for some reason and I don't know why. I woke up at dinner and I was like, oh, I'll get up, and then I fell back asleep. You know, I guess getting sleep is a good thing. It's just unusual and confusing for me. It means I'm a little disorientated though. Although, actually, I felt kind of disorientated at the end of last stream as well. I don't know why. Just by the end of stream, I was there like, wow, I feel really out of it. Like at the end of my stream, I was like, man, I feel like I've missed a lot of messages today. And I still feel that way. I still feel like I missed a lot of messages yesterday. So, for those of you who accidentally had a message ignored, my bad. Either way, reading stream should be easy enough. I had to Google though. The name of the short story this time is Closet LLB, but then I was like, it tells me in another part of the book somewhere. Yeah, the original is called Yaneura no Hokakushi, which then made me go, wait, what's an LLB? If that was a Japanese specific term, then it would be there in the original version. And I was like, I have no idea what an LLB is. And apparently an LLB is some kind of law bachelor's degree, apparently. So, congratulations, whoever translated this. You made me feel like a little bit of an idiot before I even started reading, so big thanks. Do not appreciate that. Even a little bit. I'm now worrying that something is not working. No, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. Probably. I don't know why I feel so disorientated. Purity would never worry. Yeah, I've never worried in my life. What kind of person would I be? Would it even be me if I worried? If I wasn't the overthinker, Olympic champion? My words are not coming very smoothly to me, Alec. I apologize. Either way, I don't know how long this one is. I think this one's a shorter story, so we should be able to read this one in just one go instead of two like hell screen. Also, is disorientated a different word than disoriented? No, they do mean the same thing. It is a personal preference. I have looked I have looked it up in the past because I did keep on seeing it's like, oh wait, disoriented is also a word. Yeah, no, they're both words. They both mean the same thing. They're just alternate spellings. They're not even like, oh, one's British, one's American from the last time I looked it up. It literally is just like, yeah, it's just another way to spell the same word. So yeah, no, it is the same. I don't know why. I've always preferred disorientated. I think there's another couple of words that have that like extra like 8 sound in the middle. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Don't know why, because I mean it makes it take longer to spell, not spell, type or whatever. It just sounds better. Disoriented doesn't sound like a full word to me. I don't know why. Anyway, I made a fun discovery today. This is gonna sound kind of stupid, but bear with me. To what is probably no one's surprise, I was playing World of Warcraft before this stream. I hadn't remembered that reset, like when the realms go down for maintenance, is actually the exact same time as this stream, which is really good timing. And it means that if I continue playing World of Warcraft, it should never happen that I accidentally missed this stream because I got distracted playing WoW. Because that is a risk. That is a genuine risk of something that could happen. Apart from it can't. They were really, yeah. Years ago when they decided that Wednesday night was the time that they were going to do reset, the maintenance, yeah, they were looking out for me specifically. That just ended up being kind of a pleasant coincidence. Because I know I am forgetful. But it'll also be a problem if you stream WoW. Well, I wouldn't stream WoW right now, would I? Because I'm streaming reading. Most nights they don't have maintenance. Last week they did have like 4 days of maintenance for some reason, but no, it's normally just once a week. Normally. I don't know whether I'll stream well. I still feel a little bit like it is a real game, but I still feel a little bit odd about it. I don't know. I have brain worms. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this about me. So I'm gonna ignore those. And I'm gonna read. Oh wow, this is actually very short, what the hell? So one of the most popularly streamed games on Twitch. Yeah. I don't know. The only time I ever click on someone playing WoW is if there's Twitch drops. Like, are people genuinely streaming and like the core interesting thing is like normal gameplay? Like, I would have thought like raids and stuff might be... Well, I don't really understand watching raids either. I don't know. I guess like... But if you're reading, you can't pay attention to your chat. No, I don't get it. No, I don't get a single aspect of it. I don't understand. I don't understand. Mix of grinding as a backdrop for talking and raids. Aww. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Also, I don't want to get made fun of for clicking my abilities again. I still remember the last time I streamed it, I got made fun of because I click my bars. I actually was thinking someone the people I was cat sitting for actually have the computer mice that have like the little number buttons on the side, so you can just like press with your thumb. And that seems pretty neat. That seems like a good idea for MMOs. Am I gonna buy a mouse specifically for MMOs? Probably not, no. Yes, I don't watch much WoW, I just RuneScape, even then not so much. Yeah, see for me, I mostly, when I watch streams, I mostly watch models and miniatures, yeah, that's the main category I watch, to be honest. Any sort of like hand cam crafting, yeah, makers and crafting. Occasionally like the Lego ones, but I don't really like the Lego ones as much. So yeah, I guess I don't understand the same perspective that WoW watchers have. Like I said, it's not that I'm against it or anything, it's just I just feel like it would just be, oh, this is a just chatting stream, but the main subject is World of Warcraft. Which, I mean, is fine to a certain extent, but... Shrug emoji. Anyway, I'm gonna read this short story, because it really looks like it's really short. It looks like it's like 5 pages. No, it's not 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 7 pages. I was really far off. Also, I realised I didn't post on Twitter that I'm streaming. Whatever. Sorry, Twitter users. My bad. Alright. As usual, if anyone needs to go get some food or a drink or anything like that, please do feel free. If anyone's heading to bed, you will not be awoken, there won't be any loud sounds on stream. and I will not be redirecting at the end of stream, so do feel free to get some rest as well. If there are any issues with my audio at any time, please do let me know. I will read chat during stream, but not responding to it until after I've finished the end of the short story. Please feel free to carry on talking while I read and commenting and talking as you wish. Yeah, I think that's everything. I need to write that down at some point to make sure I stop and I don't like forget parts of it. Right. Cozy mode. I straighten up actually. I'm sitting very shrugged. Chair, don't look. Wait, no, please. Okay. 5 years have gone by since Otsukotsu Sansaku received his Bachelor of Laws degree from the university and became known as Otsukotsu Sansaku LLB, but he still has no fixed occupation. Almost 9 years have gone by since he first arrived in Tokyo from the provinces, but he still spreads his bedding in the same room of the same boarding house he chose at the beginning, while ownership of the boarding house itself has changed hands 13 times. As an undergraduate, Sansaku was, in fact, present on at least 2/3 of the days his college was open for classes, perhaps because the rules prohibited anything less, and his grades were on the high side. At university, however, he averaged 10 days a year, passing through the campus gate no more than 40 times in 4 years, as a result of which he graduated second from the bottom of his class. Back in the 3rd or 4th year of primary school, Sansaku became obsessed with boys' magazines and fairy tales, and he aspired, if somewhat vaguely, to become a children's author like Iwaya Sazanami. His father died when Sansaku was 3, leaving Sansaku and his mother enough money to live on for the rest of their lives. His mother took the extra precaution of entrusting the property to an influential relative, but this had the reverse effect of plunging them into misfortune when, unexpectedly, the relative went bankrupt, losing not only his own property, but theirs as well. This happened the year Sansaku entered middle school. At that point, another relative, a man named Oike, stepped forward to pay his school fees. Oike was the cousin of Sansaku's father, whom the father had aided monetarily and in other ways, and who, unexpectedly, had succeeded in business and become a millionaire. When the 14-year-old Sansaku finished his first year of middle school, Oike brought him to live in the Oike household and insisted that he take an examination to transfer into a prestigious business school. Try as he might, Sansaku could not make himself study for the exam, and 2 days before the appointed date, he ran away from the Oikes to his own house, or rather to the house of his mother's parents, who had taken them in after the bankruptcy. Oike then gave up on his plans for Sansaku, and resigned himself to paying the boy's tuition and letting him continue through the full 5 years of middle school. Sansaku had excellent grades all the way through primary and middle school, which is not to say that he was working especially hard in middle school. Far from it. Indeed, he was already completely immersed in magazines and fiction. But the ambition Iwaya Zanami had sparked in his earliest years had been evolving bit by bit. First, Sansaku found himself wanting to be the staff writer at a magazine, and then, from the 3rd year of middle school, he embraced the unshakable goal of becoming a novelist. To this day, that has not changed, which only goes to prove that we are dealing here with someone who was once a childhood prodigy. Yet another problem arose when Sansaku graduated from middle school at the age of 18. Oike, convinced that this was the time for him to take action, again pressed Sansaku to study business, but Sansaku insisted that his future lay in literature. The two clashed repeatedly until it was decided, through the offices of a third party, that Sansaku should take the middle path and study law at college. Not even the gifted Osukotsu Sansaku was able to grasp exactly how law was the middle path between business and literature, but he did see that any further resistance to the wishes of the relative who was paying for his education would be both futile and against his better interests, and in the end he'd resigned himself to entering the college's pre-law program. Thus it came about that, through the 3 years of college and 4 more at university, Sansaku steeped himself exclusively in literature, while supposedly settled in law. He managed to squeeze through his university law exams at least, and 5 years ago became, in name only, a Bachelor of Laws, Otsukotsu Sansaku LLB. Just about the time he graduated from university, Oike died. This did not spell the end of the Oike line, however, since Mr. Oike had a perfectly fine heir to carry on his name. But the payments to Sansaku came to a halt the moment he graduated, almost as if Oike's debt to Sansaku's father had now been settled once and for all. As noted earlier, Sansaku is a Bachelor of Laws, but he knows almost nothing about the law. Not one of his relatives, who felt only antipathy towards him, offered to help him find any employment. Nor did he, in his strange arrogance, bother to approach any of his senior law colleagues in search of an opening. None of them liked Sansaku either. In this way did our poor Bachelor of Laws suddenly find himself pressed to make ends meet. While at university, most of his friends had been in the literature department rather than law, and it was through those friends that Sansaku was able to live from one poverty-stricken day to the next, by doing the occasional cut-rate translation or writing fairy tales, though even so he has run up a sizable debt at his boarding house. In addition, once he graduated, he found that he was expected to send 15 yen every month to his elderly mother in the country. Over the past year or two, Sansaku has fallen into ever-deepening poverty. There has never been enough translation work, and he's run out of ideas for fairy tales. Still, visiting literary friends to beg for work has been just as hard for him as calling upon his senior colleagues in law. In other words, though arrogant, he is also a man of great diffidence. Before he knew it then, his payments to his mother fell further and further behind. Once that happened, it ceased to bother him, and he gradually stopped sending anything at all. In the end, he could toss her urgent letters aside with hardly a twinge of conscience. Then, just a month ago, a letter arrived from the country. As we have seen, Sansaku might allow 2 or 3 days to go by before reading his mother's letters, and some he never read at all. But this one, fortunately, he opened and read immediately. Fortunately, because it brought him excellent news. Since he had so often been late sending money to her, his mother said, their relatives had begun to hear of her difficulties, and several of them who, like Oike, had been aided by Sansaku's late father and had done especially well for themselves, had got together and collected 10,000 yen, enabling her to open a small but dependable shop. This news brought Sansaku such a tremendous sense of relief from the cares of day-to-day living that he felt quite drained. What was that again? He muttered to himself, recalling the last part of his mother's letter. Our relatives say they pooled their resources and helped me open a shop because you have failed to support me the way you ought to, Sansaku. So under no circumstances should you even dream of pestering your mother. Not that we are in a position to say such a thing, said the hypocritical bastards. For a loan? A loan? Who the hell's asking for a loan? But wait a minute, he went on, trying to make sense of the situation. If they gave it to her, it's hers. And besides, It's not as if I'm some prodigal son planning to pester his mother for money to support his dissolute lifestyle. This will be my chance to sit down and do some serious work. Which means... And so... Alright then, let me just set all thought of money aside and take the time to apply myself to a grown-up novel. Having written so many fairy tales over the years, this is how Sensaku refers to standard novels. Because I've had to send out 15 yen or so every month until now, I've been compelled to keep taking stupid jobs I absolutely detested. But now that my mother's livelihood is assured... No sooner had his thoughts brought him this far than Sansaku felt that sudden, draining sense of relief, like a traveller who remains unconscious of his fatigue as long as he keeps hurrying down the road, but who collapses in a heap from exhaustion the moment he realises that he has reached his destination. Though, in fact, as stated earlier, Sansaku had by no means been making regular monthly remittances to his mother. Once he felt it was no longer necessary for him to act, the will to act simply vanished. Although he did at least feel an occasional urge to write a grown-up novel, after all, it was an ambition he had often harboured to the point of ignoring everything else, including his studies, for a time. It occurred to him that, even if he managed to finish one, far from earning him easy money like his fairy tales, just getting it accepted would require enormous effort on his part, and so he flung his pen away. Every single day since then, he has spent either visiting friends or sleeping. Sansaku's style of sleeping deserves special mention. His small tatami-matted room has the standard tall, deep closet, divided by a sturdy shelf into the upper and lower compartments for storing his futon and covers behind a pair of sliding paper doors. But Sansaku long ago decided that it was too much trouble to open the closet door and pull the bedding out every day to spread it on the tatami. Instead, he cleared out the upper compartment and now keeps his futon spread out permanently on the shelf. He sleeps in the closet with the doors open and never has to make his bed. "This is it! This is the answer!" he cried in delight at his own discovery. "I may have been born in the sticks, but I'm different from the typical farmer or merchant son. I'm delicately built, so I can't sleep just anywhere with a pile of magazines or a folded cushion for a pillow. This is it." Lazy as he was, Sansaku still managed to wake up early every morning, wash his face and eat breakfast. After an hour or two, however, he would crawl back into his bed on the closet shelf. Usually he would be awakened by the maid when she brought his lunch on a tray, which she would set on the tatami. He would slip down from the shelf, sit cross-legged on the floor to finish his lunch, and immediately burrow his way back into the bedding on the closet shelf. Then, in the evening, he would be awakened yet again by the maid when she arrived with his dinner on the usual tray. While he slept, of course, Sansaku was unconscious, so it seemed to him as his 3 meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner, were delivered to him in rapid succession, the way a waiter in a Western restaurant brings one dish after another to the table. He spent most evenings strolling around the city, or visiting friends to talk about nothing in particular. Bedtime was 2 o'clock in the morning for him most days. Still, it was Sansaku more than anyone who was amazed at how much he could sleep. On the other hand, I never sleep without dreaming, he would often think to himself, which may mean that the amount of time I am actually asleep is short. If ordinary people dream a little while sleeping, in my case it's more that I sleep a little while dreaming. Now, the boarding house in which Otsukotsu Sansaku LLB lives is halfway up a hill, and it stands on a plot of land that is 2 feet lower than the street level, as a result of which, even though his room is on the upper floor facing the street, that is, the hill, the faces of people passing by are virtually at the same height as his when he is sitting on his tatami floor. This means that when he leaves his window open and keeps the door of his closet slid back, he can lie amid the bedding on his closet shelf, watching the street and closely observing the passers-by, none of whom, of course, can imagine there is a person in the closet watching them, and who must consequently pass by unconcerned about what they assume to be an empty room. This way, from among the folds of his bedding, Sansaku can spend certain intervals, the 5 or 10 minutes between the time his eyes have tired of reading magazines and the time he drifts into his morning or afternoon nap, watching the people climbing or descending the hill as if he was seeing them in a play. He has developed the ability to pick out local residents, even if he has never spoken a word to them, saying to himself, "Aha, that's so-and-so from such and such a house." Quite often, while lying in bed and watching the passers-by in this way, he will eventually slip into a dream, while muttering something like, "Oh, I'm glad to see him out walking all the time again. He must have got over his sickness." Or, "My goodness, look at that girl. She's really decked out today." In his student days, Sansaku had been terribly dissatisfied with the law as an academic discipline. Now he has the LLB attached to his name, but he still lives like a literature student, albeit one whom current literature and literary people have come to seem just as dissatisfying and contemptible. Before, he, and perhaps only he, had believed that a literary man was someone who possessed keen powers of appreciation for all things in the world. Now, however, how did those literary people he had grown familiar with appear to him? To take an example close at hand, thought Otsukotsu Sansaku LLB, while observing the street from his closet bed as usual, the face of that woman passing by, among the writers I know, and in fact many of the literature student friends he had while he was in law school were already well-known men of letters, is there even one who would be capable of composing a decent critique of how beautiful, or not beautiful, her face is, or her figure, or the way she wears her kimono, or her whole outfit? As a child, Sansaku tended to be smug and arrogant, always ready to show off his slightest ability. He was, in a word, vaguely contemptuous of just about everything and everyone. This tendency only increased with age, to the point where now even he has come to find it somewhat abnormal. His sense of dissatisfaction has increased over the past 2 or 3 years, such as that all works of art, not only fiction, but critical essays, dramatic texts, theatrical performances, paintings, are remarkable to him only for their innumerable shortcomings. He has come to feel that he is the only one who can perceive their flaws and virtues, if indeed they possess any virtues, that he alone truly understands them. He has gone so far as to think that he should therefore provide models for other writers, write works that would serve to guide them to increasingly greater accomplishments. But in the end, nothing has ever materialized. Say he goes out to eat, or to a performance of Gidayu, or Rakugo, or Kodan, or Nani Wabushi, or perhaps Ongyoku, or Buyo, or down a notch to comic Teodori, or a Shimpa tragedy. There is absolutely nothing about them that he does not know how to appreciate. He believes himself capable of discovering points of beauty in things that everyone else dismisses, and equally able to find bad points in things that everyone else admires, which makes him very pleased with himself. Had I become a sumo wrestler, I'm sure I would have numbered among the champions. This was among one of the more far-fetched thoughts that came to Sansaku one day as he was lying in his closet. Take that Orashi Tatsugoro, for example. Everyone is calling him unbeatable, but I knew him in middle school. At first, he and I were in the same class, but he was what they called a backward student and failed his exams twice in 2 years, ending up 2 grades behind me. Now you look at the sumo coverage in the paper, and they're calling him an unusually smart wrestler. Well, I used to face him in judo all the time. I never had the physical strength, but my body was unresisting as noodles, so the other guy would come at me with all his might, but I was like a willow in the wind. Sure, it's an odd figure of speech, but that's how I was. And nobody could ever knock me down. After a while, when the other guy started pressing, I'd see an opening and use his strength against him. I always won. Orarashi was fairly strong back then, though nothing special, but he never once beat me. If I had been training all this time, like Orarashi, I'd be great by now, or at least a damn good, if unusual, wrestler. The thought made Otsukotsu Sansaku feel like he couldn't lose against Orashi even now. As he lay there in his closet, imagining himself going up against each of the current sumo wrestlers, a big grin crossed his face. I wonder why I never put more of myself into studying the law, thought Sansaku one day. I mean, think of that stiff-brained, tongue-tied, unimpressive-looking classmate of mine, Kaki. I see in today's paper they're calling him one of the up-and-coming hot young lawyers for some reason. For some stupid case that he's managed to win. The public is so damn easy to fool. Sansaku finds fault only with other people, and forgets how hard the public is, and has been, for him to fool. With my intelligence and my eloquence, more than once, such thoughts inspired him to resolve to hit the law books and apply to be a judge or public prosecutor, but the inspiration never lasted more than an hour. Ultimately, Sansaku lacked the most important elements for making a go of it in this world: perseverance, courage, and common sense. To him, everything was stupid, everything was boring, everything he saw and heard filled him with displeasure, and sometimes even anger. He was especially repulsed by his landlady's modern, swept-back hairstyle, to which she added an extra swirl by placing a black lacquered wire frame against her scalp and covering it as best she could with her thinning hair, each strand stuck in place with a pomade. She also appeared to spend her days in eager anticipation of being called Madame, not only by her maids but by her lodgers as well. She was trying to hide the fact that she was a mistress of an old country gentleman who visited her once or twice a week. Only Sansaku made a point of calling her Mistress Proprietor, to which she never once deigned to reply. In spite of her refusal to respond, he would always ask her, "How much fun are you getting out of life?" "How much fun are you getting out of life?" was a pet phrase of Sansaku's. "And you?" he once asked a friend. "Are you enjoying life?" The friend's only answer was a couple of non-committal grunts. Another friend answered the question with a straight out, "Not at all," to which Sansaku responded with his second pet phrase, "Don't you want to die?" "I'd like to be killed without knowing it," the friend answered. Oh, no, I can't take it any longer. I think I'll just find myself an aeroplane. I was one of the best gymnasts in middle school, so I'm sure I'd make a great pilot. Sansaku's own special delusions of grandeur were taking flight. Too bad I don't have the one thing you really need for that: guts. And soon he was drifting into his usual dream world in his closet bed. Otsukotsu Sansaku had been an excellent long jumper in middle school. He would take a 20-foot run, plant his left foot on the line, and sail into the air with his legs still rotating as if swimming. As he neared the end of his jump, he would flip his body forwards, beginning a second arc and lengthening his distance, and then twist himself down to make still another arc the moment before he touched down, forming 3 arcs in all. This way he managed to jump much further than the other jumpers, who could only execute a single arc. Now in his mind, he found himself using this technique to send his body aloft until he was sailing through the air without the aid of machinery. And this is so much fun, and so easy for me. Oh look, I'm flying over pine trees, and all those people down there. Strange how no one seems amazed by this. But they'll realize it soon enough. I'll show them. They'll see how great my work is. No, I'm coming to the far bank of the river. But so what? River, ocean, they're all the same to me. Just go. Go, it doesn't matter, see? It's nothing. I'm across the river now. This was all in his dream, of course. He didn't know when he awoke, but the one thing he knew for sure was that the dream didn't end, as they so often did, in failure. Otsukotsu Sansaku was not the least bit surprised when he opened his eyes. He really had been an excellent long jumper in school, and he could clearly remember being able to propel his body further mid-jump. Why haven't I tried that all this time? Sprinting to the line is probably the same as a plane accelerating for takeoff, and planting the foot is probably the takeoff itself. Sure, that's it. I know I can do it. But, of course, he started having second thoughts in the midst of his enthusiasm. But, he thought to himself again. He climbed out of his closet and gave it a try in his narrow 6-mat room, but he could not even rise a foot above the tatami. In fact, he fell back so clumsily and heavily that he suspected he must have gained weight. No, I can't be this bad, he told himself, his initial fear spurring him on to a more determined attempt. He stepped out into the corridor. Fortunately, there was no one present. It just so happened that the house had undergone a major clean a month earlier, and a layer of oiled paper soaked with some kind of new chemical and varnish that had been put down to improve appearances and protect against bedbugs was still spread out over the floor. It was very slippery, and Sansaku enjoyed skating on it in his slippers whenever he was bored. Now, using the aeronautical skills suggested by his dream, Sansaku gave himself over to running down the corridor and leaping through the air, but he could not make a tenth of the distance he used to cover at school. When he tried to plant his foot for the takeoff on his 4th run down the corridor, he slipped and fell, slamming his chin against the banister and landing on his bottom. He was sitting there on the floor, scowling with pain, when the landlady with her hard, pomaded, back-swept hairdo came climbing up the stairs. "Oh my goodness!" the woman cried, with wide-open eyes. "Mr. Otsukotsu." "Madam," Sansaku responded with the title he preferred not to use for her. He chose it because he had recalled something that made it necessary to call her Madame, something that even made him forget about the pain in his shin. "Madame, I expect to receive a small payment tomorrow, so I will be able to—" After he said this, he sighed from the pain in his leg and from imagined consequences of his lie. Feeling a need for further words to cover his embarrassment, he came out with his habitual, "Life is not much fun, is it, madame?" "Not much," she replied resolutely, "for either of us." Without so much as a smile, she headed back down the stairs. "Not for either of us, is it? I see. Otsukotsu Sansaku, LLB, still flat on his backside, mumbled to himself as he watched her go. That reminded me of a song. Hello, Gravity. Hi. That reminded me of not Compared Child. Hold on, it's one of 2U's songs. It's actually one that I kind of wanted to cover. Which one was it? Even Tears Withered. Reminds me of Even Tears Withered. Kind of that, like, oh, gifted student, you know, they'll be able to succeed at anything they try, but at the end, if you don't end up really doing anything, you end up not succeeding anywhere. Hurts a little bit. hurts just a tiny bit. Damn, what an asshole though. And what was the commentary on this one again? That was, I mean, I think that was from 1918, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 1918. So yeah, they had contrarians all the way back in 1918. Where is... No, not Loyal Warriors. Ah, here. Straddles the line between masochistic self-study and parodic humour, drawing us ever deeper into sympathy for the miserable protagonist who has graduated from university but can't find out what he wants to do with his life. High ideals are unaccompanied by genuine ability. His conceit unsupported by talent or perseverance. Made me think of the anime Tatami Galaxy. I feel like I've heard that name before. Tatami Galaxy. Doesn't look familiar. First person narrator. Explores how his life would have differed if he joined a different circle. I see. Yeah. Honestly, I don't feel like I am like the main character of Closet LLB. However, I still feel like that kind of hit me a little bit, given some of that stuff was a little bit relatable. Oh god, I need to find a path in my life. It's fine, I'm a VTuber. I'm doing alright. I'm doing fine. Alright, what comes after this anyway? I think it's relatable to most people, human nature. Spouse. I will say that he definitely ended up unlucky. Obviously it started with, you know, oh, his dad died when he was 3, but left him and his mum enough money for the rest of their lives. And then, because of the other relative, they lost it all. I'd be mad as hell. Kudan, 1912. Kudan. Section is Kudan in. Kudan. Ah, here it is. Oh no, another one in the dread section. Let's go. The next one's another one from the dread section, like hell scream. Ikuze. I don't know what Kudan means though. Kudan. Where's the dread explanation? Ah, here. Written by Uchida Hyaken. Ah, here we go. Taught German. Apparently he writes lively, amusing essays, displays his idiosyncratic view of the world. Ah, here we go. Kudan is one of his best and most representative stories. Oh, okay, the title can't be translated, so apparently it's written with a character that combines the elements for human being and cow, displaying in written form the hybrid creature from Japanese mythology at the story's center. So it's some kind of... about some kind of minotaur? Is a Kudan a minotaur? Kudan. Japan. Kudan does not come up with anything. Minato, Japan. What do you guys call a Minato? I don't know. Deep L, help me. Deep L, help me. Ah! Oh god, why just... light mode. God, my poor eyes. Oh, they don't have a word for it. So maybe the author actually came up with the Kudan. Maybe the not coming to referring to anything to do with Alternia. What do you mean? No. Well, we'll find out next time, I guess. I'll put the piece of paper I'm using as a bookmark in. Oh god, the page. Why are so many pages on the internet so blindingly white? Maybe it's supposed to be like human livestock similar to the word sheeple? Oh, maybe. So less of like a literal man cow. Although, what is the word for cow in Japanese? I know milk, but I don't know what cow is. Ushi. Wait, so if human is ningen, cow is ushi, then where does Kudan come from? Okay. Yeah. Well, is it a minotaur? Is it existential dread? Is it humanity being herded like cows? We just don't know. I wonder if there's like an alternate translation of the title. Maybe if I type in the author's name. What is his name? Ushida Hyaken. Japanese author and academic. Novels. Essays. Diary. Okay, so maybe Kudan is from a bigger collection, because it's saying that apparently the first thing he wrote was in 1922, which is when Kudan is from, but the only thing it's listing here is called Medo, or Realm of the Dead. Not Kudan. Oh yeah, okay. Realm of the Dead is a collection of short stories. So we're reading a short story in a collection of short stories from a collection of short stories. I see. Okay, well, we'll find out next week. What if... I don't think there's anything else I really had to... You're writing on a pad emote. Yeah, Purity 7 noted. I'm so mad YouTube won't give... I want emotes on YouTube. although I couldn't even have animated emotes, so I guess I can't even have noted even if I did have emotes on YouTube. YouTube. Have you seen the changes? You're on YouTube right now. Have you got the update that makes like the UI or like round on the video? I don't know how to feel about it. Havoc yesterday was like, oh, they've changed how like when you add a video to a playlist, like you see the thumbnail of the first video. That hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm terrified because that sounds really bad. Never changed. No, they've never done that. They've never done that before. I still miss. I will say, obviously, I appreciate dark mode because light mode hurts my eyes. But I do miss the little like silver bar at the bottom with the red scrolling bar. You can just free Google plus YouTube, where are you? I'm dead. Google took YouTube out back and killed it. We'll never see the golden age of YouTube ever again. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can't believe they made it, even when they changed it to the likes and dislikes, I kind of miss when you used to be able to see the results yourself on like any video, and so you could see when a video had like 90% dislikes, and you just have to wear that like little bell. Ha, Rebecca Black Friday, everyone hates it. Ha. Oh, or whatever videos. It is. I mean, they still give them to you when you're like I can see the ratings for the videos that I've made. So if I go onto my YouTube studio, yeah, I can see in my content. I can see that four people. If I'm just doing maths in my head really fast. Yeah, 4 people have disliked my Kill the Lights cover. How dare they? Unbelievable. No, very loud. I actually, I normally don't remember to like videos on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they give you a playlist of all of the videos you've ever liked on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, liked videos. Wow, that got hard for review. Yeah. My liked videos, I've ever liked 40 videos. And the last time I liked a video was back in August. I just don't remember to hit the like button. Why do I need to? I liked it because I watched it all the way through. Like, is that not enough? I should like videos more often. And I just forget. That being said, actually, no, I don't have my oldest YouTube account anymore. Do I still have one of my older? Okay, on the oldest account I currently have access to, there are only 3 videos. One of them is, you know those playlists that people make that are like themed. There's one called, it's very popular. There's one called A Villain, but make them the main character playlist. That is in there for some reason. I think that's me missing 8 tracks more than anything. I don't even know if people really remember 8 tracks very well, since it was actually kind of a long time ago now that it got shut down. But I really miss 8 tracks. I used to listen to Yandere playlists on 8 tracks all the time. Most Tumblr play. It is actually, yeah. Villain, but make them the main character. I don't know, what's in the like suggestions? Yeah, so the recommended suggested videos of a villain but make them the main character, that is trying to beat the weird kid allegations and failing miserably. So there are 2 sides to every story. Your hero is falling in love with the villain dark romance playlist. A playlist because being the villain is more fun. The problem is with a lot of these playlists is they often use a lot of the same songs. I do have a playlist specifically called Awake, I think. Where is it? Playlists. Yeah, I have a playlist called Awake. Oh god, I didn't mean to actually start playing it. Which has a lot of like hyperpop, glitchcore. It's like stuff that's specifically supposed to be very fast and energetic. But the problem is, when you get playlists made by different people, they just have all the same songs on. And so I just end up hearing the same song like 5 different times. I'm like, oh my god, stop. So yeah, that's got great things on. Like, this is what the sound of a monster can sounds like. This is what the inside of a monster can sounds like, even I think I read that incorrectly. Hyperpop glitchcore playlist that matches the energy you get at 3 AM. Loud music for loud people, because as we all know, I'm well described as a loud person. I'm a very loud person, I am. There's one called Take Your Meds. So true, bestie. Yeah. I'm the loud, yeah, constantly yelling. You don't even need to come to my streams. If you just like listen out your window really carefully, you'll hear me. I'm the ultimate gremlin, loud VTuber. Super chaotic energy. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. But yeah, I think when people make the videos of playlists like that, that is really just the people wanting 8 tracks back. 8 tracks was truly brilliant. Basically, you just copied and pasted like YouTube links into 8 tracks, and it would embed the YouTube audio into a playlist that then you could customize and then share. Like, yes, you can kind of do that on YouTube anyway, but it's just not as intuitive as 8 tracks was. Unfortunately, YouTube has a bunch of rules nowadays about how you are allowed to use their API for and embed videos. So I actually tried to make my own version, not like a website hosted, just like a on my own PC, just like a bunch of HTML or whatever that just ran a playlist making thing. But the problem is YouTube doesn't let you embed much. So trying to actually play songs through it is a dreadful experience. And I'm mad about it. Because I think other people for playlists, they now use Spotify. You get your drizzly decor for depressed individuals on Spotify, but you would have to kill me to use Spotify. I hate Spotify with a burning passion. YouTube. Oh yeah, YouTube API is. I mean, I don't think I even went that deep into it, like trying to code my little music player. But it was a fight. It was a huge fight. In fact, for some reason, like, it broke when I tried to make it, so I would copy the YouTube link into my little program, and it would just come up with the code, like the V equals MC0EBE whatever. And I was like, oh, maybe can I make it just so that it can call the name of the video, like auto-fill that information, because I can't really recognize songs by their code, because I'm not insane and I don't remember that. But the second I did that, the second that I made it so it would try and call the name of, like, the title of the video, it broke. It would no longer play the video. I had to erase it. I had to be like, no, okay, fine. Don't call the name, the title. Sorry, I didn't realize that the title would break it. Didn't realize that had anything to do with anything, but my bad. Stupid ass YouTube API. Either way, it doesn't really work very well, but it's just for my personal storage, so it's whatever. I just want 8 tracks back. I just want 8 tracks back, bro. Please. Is that so much to ask? Yes. Anyway. I don't know what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go do something. I would say I'm gonna go play WoW, but it's probably still on maintenance, so I'm not going to. But I'm tired, so I'm gonna curl up in my chair and try and be cozy, I guess. I would say get some sleep, but I doubt that's gonna happen. What am I doing? What day is it? It's Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. What am I doing tomorrow? Who knows? I should probably draw tomorrow. Signalis on Thursday. Yay, horror game. I'm thinking of playing the new Pokemon's coming out. Oh god, everyone's gonna be playing that. Didn't Game Leak Game Leak? I honestly might as well call them that. Didn't Game Freak get like another leak again? Like one of their employees hit another like phishing email or something. Honestly, dude, just call them Game Leak at this point. Doesn't look good. I heard that the budget for the game was super low, and yet they're still selling it for like, you know, normal AAA price. I'm not planning on getting it. I mean, I don't have a Switch 2 anyway, so I can't, but honestly, if I'm gonna play a Pokemon game, I would rather play one of like the DS Rumble games or Arceus on the normal Switch. Lean geeks. Oh, it sounds really? Huh, I wasn't expecting them to put it on their now not latest console. That's unexpected. Pokemon. Oh, the Metacritic score has arrived. How much have they paid Metacritic? Looks like ass because it still needs to run on Switch. I just wish that they... I don't understand why Nintendo decided to do, oh, we're not gonna have a handheld console and like a home console anymore, we're just gonna have it as the same console. Like, I just want... Will you knit after the Miku Plamo? I mean, I've got the crochet kit that I need to do at some point. Did you find? I did not find Miku sleeves, and I did some organization, yes. Actually, I've got terrible news. During the organization, we found evidence of what might be in my roof. And so we are going to buy some poison. I'm going to be putting some poison in my room. And hope that sorts out the issue, because yeah, the scratching is back. Not as bad as it has been, but... I mean, I would have said if I found a corpse, so... I found it in the way my room works is I have the main actual room part, which I did not find any evidence of anything in, but then I've got like the cupboards that surround it, which are all just storage, which is mostly like my nana and granddad stuff. But like opening that to go try and like see if I could fit some of my stuff in that. Ceiling creature is not innocent. Well, actually, it doesn't matter if it's innocent or not. It's a living thing in my ceiling and it needs to die. But yeah, I'll continue organizing. I just have a lot of stuff and just not a lot of space, so... No, not much Nordon stuff. But yeah, I've got a couple more things to do. Like, I still need to find Miku's sleeves, wherever Miku's sleeves have gone. The glass cabinet, or acrylic cabinet. The what? That sounds disgusting. Don't invent such a terrible thing into existence. But I need to get rid of one of my shelves, so I need to clear one of my shelves out so then I can have space to get the acrylic cabinet for all of my figurines and Gunpla and whatever else I decide to shove in there. Drag them into its stash. I wouldn't have thought so. It's not. The Miku sleeves are not food. But that's the other thing. There's no food. There's no food like around my room. Like I don't understand why I keep getting mice. I think my family is blaming next door. We have students and they are kind of how do I put this politely? Pigs. The pigs. We even ended up with like a problem with pigeons because they kept on chucking food out and attracting birds. Cutting tape and accidentally cut their finger with scissors. Don't repeat their mistake or I'll buy you safety scissors. What? And just any random birds? Well, just pigeons. Just pigeons. Listen, I don't mind if people are like inviting like the native wildlife back into these spaces. I don't mind that, but when it's just a horde of freaking pigeons? Yeah, see, I would feed crows. I would feed crows, only crows. I would do that, but come on. He used to get roaches at my old place with neighbours, but yeah. That being said, I think I mentioned before that the landlord who owns next door is planning on selling the property because not many students want to live here anymore. All the students want to live in like the city centre nowadays. I don't live near the city centre. I live pretty decent bus ride away, so apparently they're not wanting to move in, so he wants to sell. So God knows who will move in next door after that. Take a bank loan and get that house. I couldn't even get enough of a bank loan back when I worked a real job to get a house. I think the maximum they would lend me back when I had a job was 80,000, maybe less. 80,000 does not get you anything. Not in this economy. Not in this area. Well, not that I live in a super expensive area anyway, but it's still more than 100 grand to buy a house. No, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to buy next door. Extend the house into a bigger house. Be able to turn an entire room into like my stream space, separate from my bedroom. That would be nice. The problem is, if the landlord next door has been renting to students for years, the thing is with students is you can kind of overcharge students because you charge each student individually. You charge each student individually, and then you can kind of charge more than the like average like rent price. So they end up getting very used to having a lot of money. Well, you say that it depends on if the seller would like it getting off their hands, but actually I don't know what it's like in Finland or elsewhere in the world, but there are actually rules here that mean you're not allowed to sell a house for significantly lower than its actual worth. Like, they will actually not let you sell a house for too little. They will not let you undercut the housing market. Yeah, evil laws. Evil laws. So yeah, even if like he made me a really good deal, like at the end of the day the bank could turn around and be like, no, we're not letting someone sell a house for that little. Just fucked up. Highly structured corruption. Yep. Yep. State-enforced housing bubble. Real. It sucks. I mean, I'm in a very lucky position. My parents are homeowners, so like I never have to worry about that kind of stuff in the future, but it still really sucks. It still really sucks. Okay, but what if I just stole the house next door? Don't think that's possible. Oh. It gets evaluated? I think the word you're looking for is evaluation. Oh, appraisal. Oh yeah, that's... Oh, are you saying I should bribe the person coming for appraisal? Yeah, tell him the house is worth fucking nothing, bro. Just tell him the house is worth absolute dog shit, bro. It's like radon gas and it's falling apart and there's mold and yeah, just tell him all that shit. Tell him it's a junker of a house. Need a license? Need a license for bribing? It's rough living in the UK for real. I don't know. I don't get to talk to the landlord or the people that work for the landlord next door, so you know, it would have to be my nan doing the negotiations. I genuinely don't know if I'll ever be in a situation where I can particularly improve my space for a long time. A three-way between you, the appraiser, and the seller. Be easier to end up with a price that satisfies everyone. The problem is it would probably still end up outside my budget. Actually, let me Google right now how much houses in this area do cost. Buy house. Properties for sale in so this is can I get like exactly like I've never even seen half of these houses. I don't even know what these houses are. These aren't houses in my area. Ah, there we go. Recently sold near. Ah, that's okay. That's nearly identical from my house. So it looks like the absolute cheapest that any house in this area that's kind of the same size as mine and therefore next door's is... Hold on, let me translate this into everyone's currencies. In euros. Okay, so it is £170,000, which is 195,000 euros, which is $227,000. So if that's the cheapest, even if I got a good deal, like that's still not money I just have lying around. Simply marry an insomniac who owns Will and Herda house. You could afford that? Hey, do you want to move next door? The dollar's dropped again? Yeah, that's pretty bad. What the hell's going on with the dollar again? Guys, are you okay? Don't answer that. I know the answer already. It's like 1/5 of the Damn, I know things are fucked in America right now. I know jobs are difficult, housing market's fucked, like, but Jesus, a fifth? The only houses that cost like $1 million in the UK tend to be like the ones around London and stuff. Okay, maybe, okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, $1 million. Yeah. That isn't exactly fair enough. I got frightened for you. I was like, holy crap. That's really bad. And it's still pretty bad, to be honest. But I guess it depends on what kind of area you live in. As a rule of thumb in the UK, the further away you are from London, the less a house will cost. I live in the Midlands. You ain't here? It's like 400,000 for not being in the... Oh my god. Do I get like a real... Well, to me? Man, I haven't even heard back from Royal Mail's I applied for a temp, a Christmas temp job at Royal Mail, and they haven't even got back to me. I can't even get a freaking Christmas temp job, dude. It's very demoralizing, but I'm not gonna take it too personally. I'm gonna try not to take it too personally. Every job I've applied to, other than that one that I went to an interview of and then didn't hear back from, or I did hear back and it was a no, I haven't gone anywhere with. I don't know. I think I might just be unhireable. I think it just might be over for me. It's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. But, you know, I do my best. It does suck, but what can you do? It is kind of embarrassing when you even get rejected. Like, not even, like, thought about, but, like, when you get auto-rejected from applying to jobs, even, like, KFC. Like, it's just embarrassing. Didn't get any offers other than crawling back to the ways that they... Jesus. Yeah. I've got friends who are looking for jobs right now as well. Everyone's all basically saying the same stuff. It is really difficult to get a job right now. Which I guess in a way kind of helps me feel like not feel terrible about the fact that I also don't hear back, but even that job I had now, so an AI initially rejected my offer, but Jesus. That's the other thing, right? Like, so jobs are getting auto-rejected by AI, so therefore people are also, like, applying to jobs using AI. I heard apparently some jobs that were receiving, like, thousands of applicants are now receiving, like, hundreds of thousands of applicants because people are just trying to hit everything they possibly can with AI. Like, how are you... I think if you don't know the right people, I genuinely am unsure whether it's possible to get a job. Been looking at some place that's hiring that makes me misery. I don't have enough experience for my current bosses say otherwise. Well, I wish you the best of luck. I just wish... I wish it wasn't like this. A regular 8 to 4? Yeah. Yeah, that I can see how that would be not so fun to adjust to. I don't know. It definitely feels like all the stuff that I also am actually good at. I have been completely my skills are kind of useless in the face of AI. You know, all of my organizing, my spreadsheets, my typing, all of that, like, what the thing is, like, AI can do that, and AI can do it faster and do it better. So it's very demoralizing, but, you know, we ball. It's fine. And I just need to wait for the plot of Dune to continue. Hurts just a little bit. Hurts just a tiny bit. Because I really wish I had a job. I feel kind of bad not having a job. Like, I feel like it's very easy for people to forget that I actually did work from the age of 16 all the way up until COVID. Like, I have had jobs. I am not one of those VTubers who has never worked a real job. So, the fact that I have, and the fact that now I've spent 5 years not working, it does make me feel kind of useless, but I just have to persevere. Pushing to use AI, I have to keep biting my tongue and nodding. See, don't get me wrong, there are like certain uses of it that is genuinely like good. With human supervision. God, don't let it do anything on its own. But we live in interesting times. We live in interesting times. I want out. I want out, dude. It's fine. I'm not here to whine. I'm a little bit here to whine. I'll whine a little bit. Sorry for complaining. I'll do it again. I'm British. I'm just very grateful in a way. Feels better to do nothing than spend 40 hours a week doing something that doesn't improve anyone's life. I suppose I can also understand that perspective too. Going all Age of Ultron honestly would be pretty cool. I haven't seen Age of Ultron, but that you just mean like the AI become evil and kill us all, right? The AI won't turn evil and kill me, because I am very nice to my Amazon device. I say please and thank you when I ask it to do things. I worked on a project for a year and the whole thing was oh my god. Yeah, okay, I can see how that would be also damaging to the human spirit. Man, what kind of time do we live in? Whatever. I'll just keep making my spreadsheets and playing my little games. Passive XP game feels good even if the time is wasted. Do you get better XP gain at work or when doing your hobbies at home though? Hello garbage baby. I need to get more XP in drawing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I have mixed feelings about work. Just know your stream is being enjoyed by 90% of people's jobs. That is a good thing. I'm glad. I do feel like honestly, if I didn't stream, I don't know. There's many reasons why I don't know what I would be doing with myself. But I am happy that streaming, at least, you know, there are people who tell me that it helps, you know, de-stressing, chilling, just like hanging out, socializing. It's like, okay, I'm doing a bit of good. I'm doing a bit of good. Ideally, both realistically neither. Don't you love it when you're like, oh man, I've got time to work on my hobbies, and then you don't, because you're just like tired, or you just can't be bothered. It sucks. Either way, I don't have a job, so I'll keep streaming. I am actually kind of confused of why. Did I miss an email or something of them telling, like, at least rejecting me from that Royal Mail temporary Christmas job? Seasonal mail sorter application. Let me in. Let me in. Aha. Like, have they actually rejected me, or have they just left me in limbo? Yeah, I think I'm just in limbo. Thanks. Very cool. 10 out of 10. I love Limbo. So no, not that kind. What would that even entail? Recent viral sheets said a recruiter took a photo of a cat and computer screens. Reject without. Where's that one freaking meme HR image? I would never hire anyone. 10,000 days since the last time hired anyone. Yeah, it's a WebP file, so I don't know if it'll work. It's like a freaking soy jerk, but like, you know, you we've all, I feel like slowly we're all here. Play School A. Oh, I haven't actually seen it. I haven't seen the viral image. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if people are lying on the internet for. People lying on the internet? Who would do such a thing? Sign of our time that. Yeah! You know, in these times, people are very divided. People are very divided in their opinions, you know? But we can all agree. We all hate HR. God. HR. If it wasn't for the HR, I would have did I ever explain when I was doing some contract work for that game company, the reason I was doing contract work, because actually my manager wanted me as like an actual employee, not a contractor, but HR was like, oh, we don't know if you really need like an actual employee. You know, we don't really want to hire more people right now for like a new, like we don't want to make a new role. So, you know, just have them as a contractor for now. You know, if you can prove that you really like would benefit from having a broadcast assistant, then, you know, maybe we'll think about it. Yeah, you know, if we hire this person, the pay comes out of my salary. You gave them the ick. I didn't even meet HR personally. I did walk past them. And my manager was like, this is HR. This is the people that we're trying to impress. And I was like, okay. Because I even met the director. I even met the actual director of one of the games. And he was like, oh, who are you? And I was like, oh, hi, I'm just the broadcast assistant. And he's like, oh, how long have you been here? And I was like, oh, it's my first first day technically. And he's like, oh, cool, I hope to see you again. And I was like, cool. You know, it's a really good sign to have the director say something like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't freaking matter because HR didn't want me. It's funny that they're called human resources because they really, they are very anti-human. I do wonder what kind of person works in HR. Do you think you go to an interview to be HR and they ask you how evil you are? They're like, how many people have you rejected in your life? They see you. That's true, I guess so. HR was jealous of my swag. So true. Yeah, I remember learning. Like, obviously when you take a job, they're like, oh, you know, if there's any problems, if you ever have any issues, then you get in touch with HR and they'll help you. But then once you actually start working a job for any amount of time, you actually find out that HR are not there to help you. HR are there to make the company more efficient at your cost. They are not there to help you. HR are not your friends. Yeah, HR is there to fire you. HR is there to send you a letter telling you that you're not performing well enough. HR are there to send you warnings. Outside of hiring, yeah. I do have to wonder what HR are actually doing. Anyway, enough bitching about HR. Even though that is the one thing that can truly unite us all. HR. I'm gonna head off for real. Actually, this time. They're raging fun. Oh yeah. Oh man, my mom complains all the time that they send her to like team building meetings. However, they're always like hours and hours away, and they're always the most stupid shit you've ever heard of. And she's like, yeah, it just so happens I need to take the day off of that the team building exercise. I gotta go to the dentist. Because whenever she does end up going, she's always like, yeah, that was stupid. They do a lot of making sure that companies have to, yeah, realistically firing people. Man, I should have become an accountant. I should have become an accountant and then been like, I think we're spending too much money on HR. My math says that we should just kill them all. More stupid than you could imagine. God. Although me saying, oh, I should have become an accountant, that makes me just think that I'm like that guy from the short story we just read. So now I'm gonna take it back and I'm gonna go hide in a hole. Please, if any of you at any time end up working as HR, please do not lose your humanity. Be a good person. Seems like HR salary is cutting to shareholder profits. Real. But yeah, I'm gonna head off for the night. And stop being mad about jobs. No, that's a lie. I'm gonna keep being mad about jobs for a little bit, but it'll be fine. Yeah, next stream, Thursday, Signalis. Next week I'm thinking of playing Slay the Princess, I think. But next week I also have my singing lesson, so there won't be any stream on Monday. So, but there will be a YouTube stream on Tuesday, so. Let me close my Twitch chat. Let me close. Where is my music coming from? There it is. Alright. Yeah, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for chatting with me. Have a very good rest of your night. Get something to eat, get something to drink, get some rest. Take your meds, pay your bills, whatever else you're meant to do. I don't know. We're halfway. Oh my god, we're halfway through October. Okay. Don't get terrified by the constant passage of time. Yay! Good night! Onyasumi! Good night!